Okay, this is really awkward. So I'm gonna be talking about the wide-angle video we just watched over children in different countries and their education. In the beginning of the video, they talk about they went over the education went over like the lives of children's education for 7 different countries. They went over Japan, Romania, Brazil, India, Kenya, Afghanistan, and Benin. I don't know what that is. I've never even heard of it. But they first go over, they don't actually go over all those in the first part, and that's what we're supposed to watch. So they went over Afghanistan, Brazil, India, and Japan. So as I was reading the video, not reading, oh man, this is so awkward. As I was watching the video, they start off in Afghanistan, and apparently 1/3 of the kids non-school are mostly girls. I think it's that the girl's name's Safunga, something like that. She's 16 and she lives in Afghanistan, and her parents are actually super supportive of her in her education, like especially her dad, which is really not common there. Apparently parents make fun of him all the time for supporting his child going to school, especially a girl. So that was kind of cool how that happened. But it's kind of like really unsafe there because of the Taliban. The Taliban really doesn't want girls in school. So I think they said in May 2009, there was even like 80 girls that got sick because of a poisonous gas attack. So when the girls go to school, they are at high risk of like being in danger. They've even stepped up security where they'll like check people's bags, and they have gates on like the windows and things like that just to kind of like protect the girls. They have religion classes there as well, and they actually encourage like the rights of women. So that's cool, except apparently her teacher is really harsh. I don't know. But books had to take a back seat because there was 13 kids in her family, and so like she would study, but then she would go home and just focus on help feeding her 13 kids with her 13 siblings with her mom. And a lot of the educators were really worried about that because she started getting behind in school because of that, because she didn't have time to study. But her parents discussed how they were probably going to send her to a school, but maybe like even send her away to a different school where she can be safer and, further education. Then we have Jefferson, who's from Brazil, and he's extremely smart. So right off the bat, it talks about how he even skipped a grade, and he has a family of 4 kids, but their mom is at the first part of it, she wasn't working, so they didn't really have any money. He went to school because the government allowed that to happen, gave the money for that. So they really appreciated school and really liked school, especially Jefferson, since he was so smart. And then the mom got a job a few years later, and that caused the kids to have to kind of like work on their own because the mom was always at the job, and the oldest daughter would take care of them. The mom was super worried about that because she felt like if she wasn't there, then her kids would become like whores or drug dealers, especially since one of Jefferson's friends that was 3 years older than him was already into drugs. So that's why the mom enrolled him into a church school after school program, and they saw like a lot of potential in him. He got his work done, super smart kid. But Jefferson ended up having to be held back because they were afraid his maturity wasn't enough for the next level of schooling. They were afraid he's going to be influenced by older people. So it was really hard for him because he was in the same grade as his sister, and they went to school together, and he really enjoyed that, being with her. And then he has to like repeat a grade, and he already knows everything, and a lot of the teachers were worried about that because he might lose interest. But in the end, it ends with Jefferson, you know, school being out and him having to not be able to graduate with his sister and all the other classes. And then we talk about Nirga, who's from India. She starts off really promising, that she like really wants to learn school and she really enjoys it. Her mom is not supportive at all of her schooling. She doesn't think there's any point to it, that she should just learn how to cook and find a good mate. In the end, that's initially what happens. She just drops out of school because she had to go help her family because of the drought, and she lost a lot of time there, like 4 months. So, and the night school closed, so they tried to get her into a public school, but she would have to be in the 2nd grade, and so the 2nd graders were making fun of her, so she dropped out of school that way. And then Ken, he's extremely promising. Japan has a really good educational system. He wants to be a professional soccer player after he becomes a math teacher. But his parents are really encouraging of his schoolwork and education. I guess I kind of see a pattern of, if the parents are really supportive, then the kids end up like doing well in school. Because the only one who didn't have supportive parents ended up dropping out, so that must have been a lot for her. But that is pretty much what I learned from this. There was a lot of statistics of, it starts off by saying there was 189 countries that vowed to do a basic education, and apparently 75 million are still waiting. So 75 million children are still waiting for that education to be available to them. But I hope it becomes that way because education is extremely important. So that's it.